This is Nike's current fastest running shoe, the Alphafly 3. And this is the original Nike running shoe from 1974. This shoe cost $350 and the current marathon world record was set using a pair of these super shoes. And this remade version of the classical Nike waffle I found a bit used for $40. They look a lot different, but the modern running shoes actually change the way you run and make you run faster. In this video I will do some testing between these shoes, collect a lot of data to see if the last 50 years of running shoe development actually has made a real difference. Or if I just spent $350 just because of marketing hype. Before I test how these two different shoes affect my actual running performance, I will do a running form test on myself wearing the two different shoes. And to collect all the data during my testing in this video, I will use Coros products. Coros is also sponsoring this video, so a huge thanks to Coros for creating these great tools that provide a lot of insights and data for us runners. The first two products I will use is this one, the Pod 2 and the Pace 3. After placing the Pod 2 at the back of my tights, I can do the Coros running form test and let the watch guide me through the test. And I'm super curious to see if these super shoes actually affect my running form. In theory, the super high energy return midsole foam and the carbon plate should affect things like ground contact time, but let's see what the actual data says. I will start doing the test wearing the Alphaflys, and before the actual test starts, the watch puts me for a 5-minute warm-up. And this is actually the first time I'm running in these shoes as well, and I can immediately say that it's such a cool feeling running in these. They're so well cushioned, and after that really soft landing, you feel how they bounce you back and repels you forwards in your stride. Yeah, these are just a dream to run in, such a cool feeling. Now the actual test starts with 5 minutes of pretty fast running. Before I check the result from that first test, I will perform the very same test wearing these. It's a really different feeling running in these with almost no cushioning at all. It makes me feel a bit spoiled with modern day running shoes. But let's see what the actual data says about my form in these. Now the Pod 2 and the Pace 3 have collected a lot of data from my runs with the different shoes. And I will go through it all here in the Coros app. So let's put the two analyses side by side here so we can compare. And we can directly see that the modern shoes actually change my stride and gives me a higher overall score. And this higher score reflects overall better running economy and also a safer running when it comes to injury risk. And to be honest, I could feel that if I would run a lot in these old shoes with my current running technique, I would most probably end up injured. It just felt super uncomfortable running on the hard asphalt with these really minimalistic shoes, and I have no training in running in minimalistic style shoes. So in what way did these modern super shoes actually change my running stride? Let's first have a look here at ground contact time, which is a metric of how long your feet stays on the ground when you run. And to have a good running economy, you want this number to be as low as possible. And we can see that the Alphafly helps me lowering that number a bit. And I think that is partly because of this midsole foam that is really bouncy and have a really high energy return, and also this carbon plate that repels you forwards, but also this like rocker shape of the shoes that sort of forces you to continue the stride a bit quicker. The strike angle is also a bit lower, meaning I tend to overstride less with the modern shoes. The Alphafly also gives me a slightly lower stride ratio, meaning that I move a bit less up and down, which is also good for the running economy and to run as efficient as possible. If we move on to the strength parameters of my running stride with the different shoes, it looks like this. First, the leg stiffness measures how quickly your legs rebound after making contact with the ground. And runners with a really efficient running stride have a really high value here, with the tendons working sort of as a spring to repel you forwards and give you energy back with each step. And the Alphafly and its carbon plate and really bouncy midsole foam, I sort of get the same effect that a more efficient and optimized Achilles tendon for running would give me. The peak ground reaction force uses a complex formula to measure how strong your legs are when pushing off the ground. And also here the Alphafly helps me get a slightly higher value. It's like I get the energy return from the carbon plate and the midsole foam on top of the power I already put into each step. So with all this data, there's no huge differences, but it clearly looks like the Alphafly changed all the parameters of my running stride to the slight better. As I said, I sort of suspected that the high energy return of these shoes was going to change these data points, but it's really cool to get some actual numbers on it. But the real question is, do modern running shoes really make me a more efficient runner? Meaning that I can run on the same pace with less effort, which basically would allow me to run faster. This I will test here on the treadmill, and I will do a pretty simple test where I do 6 repetitions of 5-minute intervals at a constant pace. And the pace will be 3:30 per kilometer. And between the reps, I will have a 2-minute rest where I switch shoes. And to evaluate this test and the effort I have to put in to keep this pace, I will monitor my heart rate using the Coros heart rate monitor. And thanks to this being located at a bigger muscle group over the biceps with more blood flow compared to wrist heart rate, I can get a really reliable and accurate heart rate data for a test like this. So let's get some good intervals done and at the same time collect plenty of interesting heart rate data between the shoes. And this will also be my first treadmill session ever in my new studio/endurance training room here. So looking forward to this one. Let's get it done. I really had to work for that last one wearing these old waffles. And now I haven't looked at the heart rate data yet, but based on the feeling I had when I was running, I put way more effort in during the intervals wearing these compared to the Alphaflies. But now I'm really curious to see what the actual heart rate data says. Is this whole modern running shoe technology just marketing hype? Or do expensive running shoes allow me to run with less effort on the same intensity? And this video is not sponsored by Nike, so I'm completely unbiased between these shoes and would actually prefer the old ones performing better since they costed $300 less. Then I could save a lot of money. Yeah, enough talking, now we'll get to the computer and actually analyze this. Okay, here in the Coros Training Hub I have selected the 6 intervals. On the first one here I ran with the Alphaflies and I had an average heart rate of 141. And then after switching to the waffles for the second one I had a way higher average heart rate of 151. Which sounds huge, but these first 2 values doesn't really say all that much. since it is completely normal on a session like this that your heart rate steadily gets higher for each repetition as your body temperature rises and you get more tired. So what's really interesting is this third interval wearing the alpha flies again. Normally you would see a slight higher number here as well, but it was actually lowered to 149. And for the next one in the waffle, it was again higher of 157. And then again, after switching to the alpha fly, it clearly goes down to 154 before going up again for the last interval in the Nike waffle to 161. So all the data I collected show exactly what I was feeling, that these modern shoes make me run with less effort. And based on the heart rate data, my prediction is that these would make me run an all-out mile about 5 to 10 seconds faster compared to these old ones. But the biggest difference for me between these two shoes would be on the longer distances, where these would work great on a road marathon, and based on the short intervals I did on the treadmill, I would not even want to think about running a road marathon with these old ones, and it would probably injure me. But with that said, that is also because when I run on hard surfaces, I mainly run with highly cushioned shoes. So my feet and calves and tendons and muscles are not trained to run with these more classical and minimalist shoes. And clearly people before modern running shoe technology still ran really fast and ran really long distances. So although I prefer these modern runs and really think that the modern running shoe technology make a difference both on performance and injury prevention, these old ones designed back in 1974 still worked fine to run in, and for running on trails and softer surfaces I think this would work great. Thanks a lot to Coros for supporting my channel and making this video happen and creating all of these amazing tools for us runners to get plenty of insights into our training. If you want to check out all their products, there's a link in the description. Train smart, have fun, and I will see you in the next video.